Well, good morning, all. It is Thursday, the 11th of January of 2023. See, I already did that. 2024. See? That's good. It's going to be a couple of months before. But yes, I had a feeling I was going to do that at some point. Couple of things. Bill Belichick, I heard this morning, is gone. As well as yesterday was Pete Carroll. That was a little surprising because I think he still had a lot to offer. But now he's an advisor, which means, basically we're kicking you out the door, but not really. So that one came as a surprise. Well, kind of. I mean, Seattle hasn't been that good since the fucking Super Bowl days. With their good defense and Russell Wilson actually fucking playing. But I did discover last night, I was flipping the channels. There really wasn't much on last night. But I'm flipping the channels and I get to the Professional Women's Hockey League. Never heard of it. Didn't even know it existed. Apparently, as I looked into it, this is the inaugural season for it. New York has a team. There's only 6 teams. It's kind of like when the NHL started out. There's 6 original teams. 3 in Canada, 3 in the United States. I believe it's Boston, New York, and Minneapolis. The 3 in Canada are Toronto, Montreal, and I forget the last one. It's not Vancouver. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But I was looking into it, and they play here in Long Island, which is cool. I may go watch a game because tickets are dirt fucking cheap. And it's a good night out. And they're not bad. I mean, New York got its ass kicked in last night. It's 5-2 or some shit. I was watching the game. But I was looking up tickets. Tickets aren't very expensive. So it'd be a nice night out. I talked to a couple of friends. They said, yeah, why not? Let's go. They really do need to find names for these teams, though. The New York Hockey Club is just not, makes it sound like a bar league. So I'm sure they're working on that. There's got to be a name. I would call them, I don't know what I would call them. That's a good, leave in the comments what you might call a women's professional hockey team from New York or any of the other places I mentioned. But it looks like a good time. I mean, it looks like a good night out. They're not bad. It's not like it's terrible hockey. It's not men's and it's fast, but it's not as fast as the men, obviously. Let's wait and hear when a trans man wants to get in women's professional hockey because he can't make it in the NHL. Let's see how far that goes. That'll be next. I can't make it in the NHL, but I can beat the crap out of women. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I know the NBA won't let it happen, or the NFL. Baseball's tough. I don't think I ever see a woman playing a man's sport, ever. There's women's football and there's men's football. There's, for all the sports. But I can't see a woman. And it's funny, you really don't hear women trying to invade men's sports. Not really. I mean, not to the capacity that the men are doing. You've had female kickers and goalies and stuff like that, but nothing like the other way around. But I can't see them letting. I don't see women playing professional baseball only because I don't think they could handle the strength aspect. I don't know of any woman who could throw a fastball 100 miles an hour. I'm sure a woman would make a good fielder out in the outfield. I don't know about the infield, maybe first base, but the infield, because if you watch men, the Major League Baseball, some of these balls that come at these guys are rockets. Rockets. And they would tear a girl's head off. They almost tear men's heads off. So I don't foresee women taking over men's, the MLB. Although I wouldn't rule out a manager or a head coach, in football, or a head coach in basketball. I wouldn't put it past that. Why not? I don't see them playing the actual game because of the physical difference. But coaching, sure, why not? Why not? Why not have a woman do a professional basketball team? Why not? It's just coaching. If you're a good coach, you're a good coach. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Of course, that's just my opinion. I don't see what limitations women would have in sports other than the participation in them. You cannot have women playing with men in the same sport. And the one I always go to is football. I'm sorry. The almost 400-pound lineman is going to kill even a woman who's 200 pounds. I've seen some large women, they're built. They're in a really good shape to play football with other women. I don't see them playing with men because they probably get tossed around like rag dolls. So that doesn't help anybody. But coaching, sure, why not? Be a head coach. Be a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being an assistant coach or a head coach in basketball or a manager in baseball or a bench coach? I don't see what the problem is. I mean, if you're a woman who played softball, it's not that much different than baseball. The rules are technically the same. You're just throwing the ball underhand instead of overhand. At least to me. I mean, I could be wrong there, but it's basically the same rules. Basketball has the same rules for women and men. They have the same rules in football for women and men. Those might be a little different. I don't know. I don't watch women's football that much. I'm watching the hockey now. It seems to be the same with offsides and the icing and penalties. The same. It seems to be the same thing to me. So, I mean, what? And they have women head coaches. So why not do them? Why can't they be head coaches for men, and vice versa? I mean, men are coaching women's sports on the college level. There are some. The coach at UConn. But I don't know. I don't see them mingling so much, playing sports together professionally. I don't think they should anyway. I think men are just, even if you're a trans man, you're still physically bigger than a biological woman. That's just, my opinion on that. And it seems like common sense. If you're twice a woman's size, you're going to probably beat the crap out of her. I mean, you don't see women and men's boxing combining. You know what I mean? Could you imagine Mike Tyson in his prime against, like, the best UFC fighter or the best woman boxer in the world at the time? You catch my drift there? I don't know. I'm rambling, so I hope there was some kind of sense made in this whole thing. And if there wasn't, oh well. Booyah.